And we're live.
And we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Jenelle Walters, owner of Sorella Beauty Studio in Bensalem.
Beautiful, beautiful. How long have you been in Bensalem?
So we've only been open about 16 months, so still fairly new.
Okay. So I feel like we're all in the same space of entrepreneurship, business ownership, and
baby stages
to talk about.
Crawling stages.
The crawling stages, absolutely. So before we get into this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, I've messed that up.
That's okay.
I'm too laid back today.
You say you feel relaxed, so this is the vibe, to be relaxed. What are we sipping on? I don't know. You said you have a bottle of something.
I remember it's a bubbly.
It's a bubbly. So cheers to a good episode.
Cheers.
To successful business ownership. All right, let's get into it. So tell me all of the fabulous things that you do in your space.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm like, who's talking to me? So we're an aesthetic salon, mother-daughter owned. So myself and my daughter are both licensed estheticians. So I handle all of the skincare. I focus on corrective skincare with Korean products. So it's a lot of anti-aging, acne clients, hyperpigmentation, things like that. I'm also a certified spray tan artist. So I do all of the spray tanning. My daughter is a certified lash artist and a master brow artist, so she does lash extensions.
You guys need a round of applause for that.
Master at her craft. She does my eyebrows. Don't look at them right now because they're not done.
When you got them done, I was like, yes.
They were like on point.
Your face was framed beautifully. I'm like, yes, keep going there.
And her daughter does Ashley's lashes.
Okay.
So yes, that's how I learned about them. Because if Ashley gives you an endorsement, like I'm in. Because she's picky.
She's no BS.
We love her.
That's amazing. That's so good. What made you start a business? Because you said it's been 16 months, right?
Yeah. So
and you came from a corporate America like most of us before this. So what made you take that leap?
Well, I've always wanted to be in business for myself. But the main thing was it was my children. I was overworked in corporate America, and I was a licensed realtor, so I was doing something very different. But my whole career, since I was 16 years old, I have built relationships with people. That was one thing that I was always very good at, and especially with women. I've been managers of Victoria's Secrets, high-end bridal salons, prom dress stores. Nice. I've sold, all natural skincare products. So aesthetics was something that I was always very interested in. But I ended up going to school with my daughter when I was 40. So,
you guys were together? That's amazing.
So,
I love that.
She was working at a brow bar in the city, and she did a fabulous job. And I just knew that she was very talented. So I said, hey, maybe this is something that we can do together.
Yeah.
So let's, figure this out. So that was where we started our journey. We ended up getting, registered in aesthetic school. We took, because I wanted to do everything the right way. Yeah. So we took the classes and got licensed, and then started looking for a space. And since then, it's definitely been a journey. But
I love that. That's so amazing.
Yeah, so it's been great. Kind of getting to work with my daughter and kind of seeing her grow and kind of jumping into something that's different for myself. I have another daughter who's very talented. She actually was trained in microblading.
Very nice.
She's an artist by nature. I'm really hoping that one day she decides to come and join us too.
I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Like you birthed two artists, and now you're going to have this mega space. I'm just speaking it into existence.
I'm hoping.
Like that's amazing. I love that for you. Questions, Joel?
So in the 16 months that you've been open, what has been your best moment, and then one of your toughest moments that I think we've all had those moments, but what were those two distinctive ones for you, if you can remember?
So I feel like, a best moment, I don't really know if there's one. I feel like there's little wins along the way. And I really do try to make sure that I acknowledge them. And for me, it's always giving women confidence. You know, it'll be where I'll be working with somebody's skin in the treatment room and I'll receive a text message out of the blue from one of my clients that says, oh my gosh, I just wanted to let you know that somebody complimented me on my skin and told me, you know, that I was glowing and it looks so much better. And that's all because of your guidance and what we've been doing. And you've really helped me. So it's just, you know, making people feel good about themselves. It just feels really good. There's nothing more rewarding to me than knowing that I give a woman confidence. And I guess some of the worst, as much as I even hate to say this, but since we're being honest, it really is having to hold people accountable. So I had somebody kind of stiff me, and I had to make a decision on whether I was going to let it go or I was going to stand true to my policies. And I had to stand true to my policies, and I charged their credit card 50% of what the service fee was, because they do sign that upon time. But, you know, they no-showed me, no-called me, and unfortunately my whole afternoon was reserved for this person. So that's something that I feel like is moments where, you know, I want to do right by my business. I want to do right by people. So really trying to make sure that, making sure that I'm doing what I need to do as a businesswoman, but I'm also being, kind of respectful to people and that things happen and stuff like that. But, you know, unfortunately, you know, for us, we don't get that time back. So that's probably like the worst things for me is having to kind of make those decisions and just always try to tell people that like policies aren't personal.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, policies are not personal. Because if you went to a doctor's office, if you go to any establishment, there is a policy there. Whether it's your full service charge, I've been somewhere where they won't see you anymore.
Yeah.
Like do a one no call, no show, they're not going to see you anymore.
No
like
tolerance.
That's it. Yeah. So
you set the tone.
Good for you.
Yeah. Which I know is hard to do because I'm like, Elite's been open for a little over a year now, and we have that policy of if you come in late, there's a charge. It might be 50%. If you no-show, same thing. And I've never had to do it. It's there, and I'm like, please just be afraid of the policy so I don't have to enforce it because I don't want to be that person, but also don't waste my time.
Well, it's true, and I feel like the policies are there for people. They're to protect businesses from people who abuse them.
Absolutely. Right.
But like if a client were to call me, you know, a couple hours before their appointment and say, Jenelle, you know what, I'm really, really sorry. This happened, whatever it may be. 100% of the time, I'm never going to charge their card. You're respecting me enough to let me know that you're apologetic and like, you know, all I want is for people to respect our business, and you tried, and I'm going to let it go all of the time if somebody 100%. Does that. But if somebody just doesn't, you know, really care or acknowledge, you know, we do have reminders that go out starting like 48 hours prior to the appointments and then again at 24 hours prior. So they definitely get, you know, reminders and notices and things like that enough to where if there was something going on, all they have to do is hit a button and it cancels the appointment.
Right, like you don't have to even pick up the phone or call.
Right, so it's pretty easy. So, you know, I hate to have to make that decision as a business owner. It's hard because I love everybody, you know what I mean? Like
you want to make people happy. We didn't start doing this to be like the hard ass. Like, I want to make people happy.
So that like sucks. That's probably the thing that really is really hard to try to, you know, put your big girl pants on and you know what I mean, be like professional businesswoman, but yet you if I won the Powerball and was a billionaire, I would open a place and I would do services for women complimentary, like based on income or whatever it is for ladies who couldn't afford it, you know, just because I feel like you know, these are luxuries, I get it, people pay for them, but I don't feel like because somebody can't afford them that they shouldn't feel beautiful too. So like during the holidays we do like a giveaway and it's like, you know, send me a DM of somebody who you want, who you think that really deserves, like, you know, a little pampering session or whatever.
That idea.
And you'd be surprised at how many we don't get. But if I do a giveaway,
Oh yeah.
and it's for them, then people will share all over
like
the place.
it, they share it, they tag. I want myself.
Yes, I think I had like 2 nominations for something that I did last Christmas, and I gave away like a facial and a brow shape and tin or whatever, and it was like only 2 people got nominated. But if I do like a share, whatever, give away a free spray tan, a free brow thread, whatever, I have like 60 some people sharing and tagging and liking, and I'm like, wow, I'm like I don't know, it just kind of goes.
So maybe
into
this holiday's giveaway is whoever you nominate, you will also win a 50% off.
Yeah.
You're not even gonna get it for free.
Yeah.
Your person is gonna get it for free. You'll get it as a deep discount. This could be like a buy one get one type of situation.
That's a good idea. It's a shame that
you have to think that way. All right, well if they're responding for themselves but not for their friends, okay, I'm gonna make you be friends, and you guys are gonna come together.
Yeah. I was expecting to get a bunch of you know what I mean,
because everyone isn't in that mode during that time, so you're why would it makes sense? Why wouldn't you want to just be
help
I'm in the giving mood?
Did you read it? I was I wish it was for me.
Yeah.
Fuck her. Yeah, right. I was surprised. I remember saying to my husband, I'm like, do you believe this shit? I only got 2. I'm like 2, and I'm like, you do a giveaway and there's 60 some people sharing or whatever.
That's all right.
I'm like,
Next
this is
giveaway
crazy.
Now you know
how you do it.
Yeah, I was really hoping that I would get some really heartfelt stories about how somebody was you know what I mean, fell on hard times, whatever, a single mom, somebody who was raising their grandchildren, deserves some kind of
there's so many stories.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna do something, and then you let us know what we could do as well to add into your basket or whatever. I would love to do some things that give back in that way somehow.
Yeah.
I had another question on the tip of my tongue. I can't think. Did you have another question?
Where did the name come from?
So my heritage is Italian. So I come from a big Italian family. Sorella means sister in Italian.
Okay.
So obviously I'm in business with my daughter, and I'm hoping my other daughter will, join us. So it's kind of like a sisterhood, but also for the women that come and have services. You know, I want the women to feel like they're a part of our family. I want them to feel good about coming in, being able to chit chat. We're all ears. We're not like a stuffy place. Anything goes. We have fun. I mean, we laugh, we share things. And it's just great. I love our clients, and I want them to feel like they are a part of of our sisterhood. So it's kind of 2 different things where it's myself and my daughters, and kind of us, but then a sisterhood of women together.
Yeah, you're building a community.
Yeah,
I like that.
I love that idea.
I like that a lot. We talked about off camera. We were talking about social media and how difficult it has become to become we're content creators. That's just what it is.
It just added to the services provided.
But you were saying something about your space, and those are the things that don't get captured. And it's if you guys could just step in here and feel the vibe and have these conversations, you would get it, because it's it's so much more than brows. It's so much more than lashes. You are building a community, and you have to step into her space to experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a beautiful space.
Oh, thank
it's a
you.
beautiful
I was snooping
space.
online. I was this is cute. I like this.
Thank you.
And you guys definitely make because when I went in for the first time, it was after my sister had visited you. I think it was the same day. She was I just got my lashes done. I was well, I'm going to go get my eyebrows done.
Yes, and I remember we had availability, and I think she called you from the car, and she was FaceTiming you, showing you her lashes. And then I saw something come through for the booking, and I'm to my daughter's Juliana, so I call her Jules. I'm Jules, look, her sister just booked. She said that she was going to. I was oh, that was so nice. To us, that's the biggest compliment that you can give to a small business.
She had nothing but great things to say about you in just that one visit. So I'm I have time. I was here. I ran up there. I was I'm getting done. You guys were so nice. The conversation flowed. It wasn't this awkward when you go somewhere for the first time.
Usuals. What's your name?
No. What are your eyebrows? What's happening with you?
We've all been in those spaces where you're I don't even feel like I belong here because they have their established clientele, and I'm just trying their services for the first time, and you kind of get treated that way in certain spaces.
Well, I mean, there's some pretty intimate, you just have to figure, I'm spray tanning. I'm seeing women pretty much naked, you know? I mean, so you have to make people feel comfortable, you know, in order to be able to provide a level of service, you know? And it's just the way that I am. Like, I've just always been that way. Yeah, just, you know, I just like to talk to people. We're not, like I said, not uptight. My daughter's the same way, likes to talk to people, likes to get to know people, and just to make them feel comfortable, because during that time, whether it's a 2.5 hour lash appointment, it's an hour facial, it's a 20-minute brow thread, or whatever it may be, this is your time.
Yes.
You know, when you come to visit us, you know, this is your time and this is about you. So we want to make sure that you feel confident and that you feel comfortable with us, especially because if you don't like us, you don't buy things, services, nothing from people who you don't like.
You're not telling anybody anything.
Right.
Or if not, when they don't like you is when they talk
They're
the
so
most.
loud when they don't like you. But when they like you, it's like, no,
That's
I'm gonna
my
keep
secret.
it to myself. No, share me with your friends.
Please tell others.
Yes, I want my eyebrows to look the best. I don't want them girls can go with somebody else.
No, that's true. I'm trying to think. I had another. My question didn't come back to me.
No.
What's your favorite service? Whether you provide it or not, what's your favorite service in your space?
My favorite service? I mean, I love spray tanning. It's, I mean, and I like all of the services. I mean, my daughter does the lashes and the brows. Lashes, I could never. That's all her. I do not have the patience.
No, I tried that lash thing once upon a time. No, I was like, I got a bad back. Yes. I can't.
No, I do too. And I'm like, this is not for me. So that's all her. I thank God that she, you know, that she does it, that she has the patience,
takes a
that she's
different level
good.
of patience.
Nope. I like. I love skincare. Skincare is great, but I'm glad that I have things to mix it up, because I could never be in a facial room all day long because I feel like it's very calm and it's very serene, and I would want to go to sleep after my second or third one.
I'm tired now.
Yes. So being able to have the environment where I can spray tanning, I love, because number one, it's quick. So it's a quick service. I feel like it's upbeat, it's fun, and people get like that boom, instant boost of confidence.
Yeah.
It's like you spray them
wait.
and then they look and then they pull a little thing down, they got their tan line and they're like, oh my God. And like all of a sudden, like you see this meek, like shy girl go into this like sexy little thing, and they're all excited. So
that's fun.
I do that. I really do find a lot of joy in doing that.
No, that's fun. I love moments like that, because even when people leave the lounge, they're like, oh, I don't have cash to tip you. I'm like, listen, just come back. Just come back. We're going to finish that conversation. I'm going to ask you how that date went.
Yes.
Because we know. We always hear about like hairdressers that know all the secrets. I feel like I know everybody's secret.
Oh, yes.
Don't worry, your secrets are safe.
Yes.
But I want you to come back so we can finish our story.
Tell me how it went.
I feel like I'm in everyone's like family and like personal lives.
Exactly.
They're like, wait till I go back to the lounge and tell Mel what happened.
Yeah, it's the truth though.
No.
But you feel good that people like that they can connect with you, and that they can feel close enough to you to tell you. Yes, that's exactly right.
I feel like in the services that we provide, they're in very vulnerable states.
Yes.
So if you don't,
too. Yeah.
and if you don't make them feel comfortable, like you can tell they're just like tense.
This is going to be a whole awkward appointment.
Yes.
But like if you just make them like, girl, I've seen it all. You good? Whatever, like whatever you can to make them feel like just relax, because they're no more vulnerable than when they're usually with us.
Exactly.
No, it's
I tell some of them like, I'm probably going to see more than your best friend has ever seen of you. So just like
we're
don't even
besties
worry
now.
about it.
Yes.
That's it.
Exactly.
Like you
Tell
break
her.
the ice, right?
Well,
Tell
so
her I'm
many
your new best
people
friend.
will come in and they'll be going to my daughter for lash services and stuff like that. They'll realize that we do spray tans. Oh my gosh, yes, I have a wedding, so let's go. And then they're like, kind of like, so my dress is backless. I'm like, it's okay, honey. I've seen it all.
It's all
I was
right.
like, topless is 99% of most of the women are topless. I was like, I've got them. You know, I've got two daughters. A guy was like,
You don't
we're
even
all the
look
same.
at them in
I'm
that
like,
way.
no.
You're working, so
Yes,
it's like,
I'm just making sure that I'm, getting everything covered and that they look great when they're done, and that's all that I care about. I'm never seeing people's bodies,
Right.
That's not what I'm focused on. So there's no shame. I don't ever want any woman to come in and feel bad about themselves.
Yeah.
Like, this is all about a positive experience.
Yep.
It's all about,
Empowerment.
Yeah, feeling good about yourself. And that's all that it is. There's no shaming. I don't ever want anybody to feel bad about anything when they come to us. I won't even, like, if it even starts the conversation, I won't even continue with it, because it's no, there's no reason for, somebody to have to feel insecure for something like that at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've all got our own insecurities.
Right, and then we all got something.
Yeah.
We are own worst critic. Everything.
Yep. And like, normally I make people feel comfortable by throwing myself under the bus. Like,
Yes.
girl, like, I got this going on back here. Don't you worry about that, little. Like, I'll be the first one to throw myself under the bus.
We're so hard on ourselves too.
Yes.
Like 9 times out of 10 women are. It's hard to be a woman nowadays. Like
It's
really
like it's always been hard, but it's harder now.
Oh God, there's with the social media.
The comparison is like
yes, it's so
crazy.
hard. You feel like you have to be perfect, like all the time. And I even feel like even with like a business owner, right? Like trying to be a business owner, trying like with that whole social media thing, like nobody's business is perfect.
No.
It's never going to be perfect. Nothing is ever. We try to make it as smooth as we can, with processes and transitioning to things, but it's never perfect. And I feel like
And we're
all
learning.
of us, we compare, and it's the worst thing.
And we're
that
comparing
you
to things
can
that aren't
do.
real.
Yes.
Because we're probably all struggling with the same exact thing, but if you look at our pages, they don't look
doesn't
like
look like that.
Nobody
Doesn't
will be
look
able
like
to
it.
tell.
Thriving online, but internally we're like,
Do you think
is my
anybody's
key going to work next month?
Yeah. Do you think
To, like,
anybody's
display-
posting online? Well, it was a really shitty month. I had 2 clients, and I don't know where the next one is coming
Right.
from.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to post
And
that.
the funny thing is, a lot more people are talking about that now.
because
I feel like
we're all,
it
like
took.
the pot is boiling over.
Yeah,
'cause
we're like,
all
what
like,
the-
you know what? It's not fluff. It's
Yeah.
not
No.
Instagram real. Days are hard.
Yeah.
In the service business, you have to be on all the time.
All the
That's
time.
something that I found the most exhausting.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just want to be ugly and go to the supermarket. And I might run into a client there, and I might not want to talk that day, but I have to.
Yes. Yeah.
And for the most part, once I see someone, I'm like, oh, hey, girl.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
I'm thinking, like, I don't got my wig on this morning. There's a lot going on. And, like, I feel like I always have to be on. I'm like, I just want to be regular sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like I get away with just wearing like the t-shirt and with Glam Studios, you don't know if I'm a client or the owner. Like I'm just,
Right, you
I got
don't
my
know.
hair in a bun. It doesn't matter,
Right.
whatever. Because I
own it, you
live in
work
South
here.
Jersey and I'm up here. So I don't really have
Yeah.
South Jersey clients. So I'm like,
It's a little safer.
But lately, like the other day, I went out. I got dressed. Like I did my hair. I put on like matching clothes, and I was
I'm
like
a whole person.
I look like a real person right now. I might need to get used to this again. But other than that, like sweats and a bun and like leggings, and that's
usually what I am. Like when I'm in the, in the studio, when I'm spray tanning, I'm moving around a lot, like, so usually it's like leggings and like, something that's comfortable. And even back in the facial room, it's either like scrubs or like kind of like what you have on, like a sweat outfit or something like that. That's comfortable, just because I'm not going to wear dress clothes to to work every single day.
You can wear all
doing
black
what
and look
I'm
nice and
doing.
sleek in your
Yep,
space.
That's what I try to do.
I put these jeans on for this episode. I was like, I haven't worn jeans in a while. To live in scrubs.
That's what I said to her. I'm like, oh my God, what do I wear? I'm like, I haven't been on camera. Oh God.
When I
comfy.
Ashley got me my first what are they called? The clogs, the Crocs.
Oh, Crocs.
I never thought those things were so comfortable as I do when I'm here. Like that's usually what I'm wearing. Because like if I'm doing something that like a cavity session or ice sculpting where I'm like moving like wood therapy, if I wear like the sneakers I have on now, which I forgot to take them off today, I'm like in pain. Really? And that
you
like
have to put your whole body into that, don't
Whole-
you? Like
whole
work out
body
all the time.
all the
Because
time.
when you're here, you're working
I should
out
clock
too.
that. It doesn't
You should.
clock. I need to put it on my right arm.
Excuse me. You should. You should put active workout.
I did functional training today.
Yes.
But those things are very comfortable. They're not the cutest, but they are comfortable. I know
They
why
get the job
everybody
done.
wears them.
I know. I used to talk crap about them all the time, and now I wear them all.
Now you got like platform ones and
Yes, now
I
I
don't
have
think
all
I've ever
types of
tried
stuff.
them. All of my kids wear them all the time, and I have never put on a pair of Crocs.
Mr. Cameraman is like, no, I love
guess
my
I gotta
Crocs.
it's like I
them a
get it
try.
I
now.
love them. Yes, I'm like, why would I ever wear regular shoes? Like, why? It goes along with the leggings and the scrubs now, and I'm just
And
like,
then you
I'm
put them on
always
sport
comfortable.
mode, and then you ready to
forget
go.
it. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. Let me see. Did you ever have to fire a client?
Yes.
Yes.
But not like, it was more or less just like, not to tell them, but just like, so we can, thank God for online booking and systems that are, you know, that are good for owners. I can block somebody from being able to book. Yeah.
I like that.
After somebody like no call, no shows so many times, and you try to be, you know, nice and appeasing, and then the next time they do it, you go to charge their card and you can't.
So they know what they're doing.
Correct. So people, they understand and they know how to get around it. They'll either remove the card or whatever it may be, you know, at that point in time.
The people figure it out.
Yes.
They've absolutely, if there's a loophole on your website,
they'll find it. They will find it.
So at that point in time, it's just like, okay, I just have to block them from being able to book online. And then the only way that they would ever be able to book is if they call the salon and they talk to me, and I'm just going to say, I'm sorry. Like, again, it's not personal, but, you know, I respect my client's time. It is very rare that we have to ask somebody to reschedule unless somebody is really sick, there's an emergency,
like you guys always show
like
up for
that.
your clients,
right? Like, we're going to go above and beyond. We come in early, we stay late. Like, I will come in on a day off sometimes. Like, if I know that somebody's going on vacation and they're like, okay, I'm leaving Tuesday, all right, I'll come in on a Monday, do a quick spray tan, I'm only right up the street. Like, we bend over backwards and really do try to, you know, accommodate our clients as much as we possibly can. But, you know, after so long, it just seems like it's kind of like disrespectful to us, you know? Like, you're not respecting our time. Because what happens is, and I don't think that a lot of people understand this, people who have salary jobs, hourly, you know, whatever it is, wages, they go to work and they say they work an 8-hour shift, they make X amount of dollars an hour.
Sure.
When you're a commissioned employee, that's not how that works. So you have only so many hours in the day. And once you're booked in those hours of the day, if somebody doesn't show up or doesn't call, that's just like your boss telling you go to work in your salary job, go take 2 hours off, you're not getting paid for it. And there's nothing you can do to bring in that lost income. Say that happens every day.
Right.
Or say it happens 3 times a week or whatever it is. If you're a $25 an hour job, well, you lost 2 hours this day, that's $50. 2 hours the next day, that's another $50. That's $100 this week. It's at the end of the month, it's $400. You know what I mean? So it does add up. So I don't think that people understand that.
No, I don't think they look at it that way.
It's a huge loss of income for the employee, and it's a loss of income for the business. And like I said, we're very understanding. We understand things happen that you can't control.
Right.
And we're going to work with you 100% of the time if you give us just a little bit of courtesy.
Right.
That's all. But when things like that start to happen all the time, it's a major hit, and then we might not be able to stay in business so that we can service you.
Right.
So
And now everybody's upset.
yes.
You can't get an appointment. My business shut down.
Yes.
Now, are you appointment only, or do you accept walk-ins?
No,
Okay.
I mean, it's really hard for us to accept a walk-in, especially with it only being myself and my daughter right now. I mean, if she's doing a full lash set and somebody comes in for brows, she can't stop and then just take them, you know. I think that maybe once or twice since we've been open, somebody was just driving by and they weren't local and they just happened to see us and we had good reviews and they popped in. Now, it was easy because she was able to, you know, take them. They had to wait about 15 minutes. But so like sometimes if she's doing a brow service, she can hop back and forth while the tint is sitting on somebody else. She could thread somebody or whatever it is. But like if I'm in the back with a facial, I could be back there for an hour and 20 minutes. I can't leave that person and go out and take a walk in. So it is, you know, it's better for everybody, for the clients, so that they get the time that's scheduled for them, and better for us that we keep it, you know, appointments versus walk-ins.
Yeah, I like that. And then when people make their appointments online, do they pay for the service up front or they pay like a deposit?
It's neither. So we take a credit card. So we keep a credit card on file. At the time of booking online, they have to put their credit card on file. They have to read through and initial all of our cancellation policies. And I don't touch the credit card. Once they have their service, then I charge the card, or they can pay cash or pay another card, whatever it is. But the reason why we have them put a credit card on file is so that it protects us.
Yeah.
As you should, especially because you're appointment based. So that's
If
just
we,
a slot open
and
now.
if we started getting like a lot of no shows or a lot of last minute cancellation and having issues, then unfortunately I would have to go with taking a deposit. But I'm trying not to have to, to do that. Just a credit card just a credit card on file has been okay. So.
Yeah, like we take walk-ins. We encourage that people make their appointments, of course, but we accept walk-ins. So when people come in between just till 4:30,
okay,
I'll take you up to 6. But if you book after that time, I will be taking your payment because any other time I would just be sitting there
because you're staying.
Yeah. Now at this point, now I'm just sitting there from 4:30 to 6 p.m. twiddling my thumbs. I could have been doing something else, and you didn't show up.
Yeah.
So, but when we first opened, we were there. 5 or 6 days a week, 5 days a week. 10 a.m., 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. And sometimes for the first couple of weeks, we didn't really see that many people were brand new.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, this isn't going to be, like, we can't keep doing this because we could be doing something else with this time. Like time, I value time so differently
much.
now versus like actual currency. It's like, no, I'm wasting time here. I could be doing something else.
Well, that's what's also nice for us. Like, if we don't have an appointment, say we open at 10 and our first appointment doesn't start until 11, you're not going to catch me there at 10 o'clock because I probably can be doing it unless I have like administrative things or whatever. There's certain days where I'm like, okay, we might not open until later. Tuesdays is usually like a later day for us. So we open at 3 and then we're there until 8.
Okay.
But if we have people who want to make appointments at 12 and she can fill her books and I can do that, then I don't have a problem with coming in at 12 and being there from 12 to 8. Thursdays is long. We're 10 to 8. But, if we don't have appointments during certain times, we might run out, like if I have an hour gap, I might run out and grab a coffee or I might go grab something to eat or whatever it may be. So that, I guess, is a good thing about being, appointment based that you can kind of, do whatever it is that you need to do during the day that you might not be able to do if you were working, like, say, a salaried, job.
Yeah.
It was like a week ago. I'm like, I had a full schedule, but I had like a good 2 or 3 hour gap. So I'm just gonna run to Staples. Sure enough, there was 3 missed calls. I said, "What happened?" I called everyone back. Like, "Oh, I came. I was outside." I'm like, "This is why we tell you to make your appointment."
Yeah.
Because I no longer feel bad.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of days that I don't eat lunch because I'm like, well, I don't want to step out and then somebody walks in, or I don't want to. But it's like, make your appointment.
Yeah.
Because now I'm tired.
Yeah,
we
were doing walk-in Wednesdays. And I could do like administrative stuff, like you said. Like I can find something to do, but it just became a point where I think we got 2 clients on a walk-in Wednesday, and I'm like,
it's not worth it. Yeah.
I could be doing other things. So like today we had 2 this morning, and then we were going to record. So I had time from like 12 till when we started recording. So I got lunch. I went to run errands, come back, and like keep going. So appointments are great. I thought walk-ins would be like, all right, let's give this a shot and see how it goes. And one thing that we're learning, right? You never know unless you try. So you give it a shot. If it doesn't work, that's fine. You learn from those things instead of like steadfast, like, no, 10 toes deep, like, I'm going to do this. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Out.
Yes.
Walk-ins, I feel like, are good for maybe somebody who's got prime location, storefront in a busy area where you can see, you know what I mean? And then people are walking by. But like for a service like that you have, like a body sculpting service, or like I'm saying a facial lash extensions, nobody walks in just for, let me get a quick set of lash extensions. You know,
like you said, they're like out of town. It's like, crap, I really actually need my lashes done or something. But you have a lash girl, you have a brow girl, you have people that you trust.
And these are our services. These services take time. They're not a quick service. So it's like I have to plan in my day. I would never try to go get a quick hair dye. This is going to take me 3 hours. Like, that's not going to happen. I need to plan that in my day.
Especially now. Like, back in the day, I feel like you could just go in and an hour later, now they are specialists that do like a whole process.
You need a day.
The whole day.
But I feel like the walk-ins are more for like, people who are going to have like a super prime location, people walking by busy shopping center, whatever it may be. You have glass front, windows, people can see. Then they might like pop their head in. Oh, what do you guys do? Oh, well, do you have time for a quick, whatever it is? Then you probably do well. But now that you have like more like studio, type things, and
more like exclusive, like catering to the.
A lot of people don't even like they don't know, to just pop in somewhere for something like that. So, and I do feel like appointments, it helps the business owner because you can prepare, you can allot your, schedule time for that. And so can the client. The client can say like, hey, listen, you know what? I'm going in for my body sculpting. I'm going in for my facial. I'm getting my lashes done. Leave me alone. This is my self-care time. This is my time. Everybody planned. Right. Like everybody's, planned for it and it just feel like it runs smoother. I could be wrong because I'm not in a walk-in business, so I don't want to speak. You know what I mean?
No, I'm going to say yes, it does. But we are in a space where we have a beautiful glass window, and people still walk that neighborhood. You see, when we used to stay late, you could see people walking their dogs after work, popping in like, oh, what is this space? And we tell them, and it's like, oh, can I get a B12 shot or whatever the case is. But when we have a day where you do have a couple appointments on the schedule, and I have a flow because in my head I already know exactly what I need to do. I know all these clients, blah, 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 blah. Whether it's a new client or an established one that decides to walk in on a day that the schedule's already kind of busy, it's like, of course I'm going to accommodate you, but it would have been so nice for you to make your appointment. Like it would have been like a nice heads up. There goes my lunch again because you didn't schedule.
Or you don't want to feel rushed.
Right.
Like when you start to overbook, then you start with the walk-ins. I like taking time with people.
Yes. I don't want it to feel like a clinic. Like you came in, this is going to take 30 minutes. I'm putting your IV in. I'm giving you these vitamins and then you're leaving. No, I still want to know about your day. Like I genuinely am interested. And that's one of the reasons why I stepped away from the hospital. I didn't want to be rushed to discharge the patient or rushed in whatever political sense because we got to get their insurance card and blah, blah, blah. This is a time for me to chit chat with you.
It's more personal.
I'm like, I will never rush anyone. Once I'm done with everything, I normally tell people, take your time. This is still your time. Because by then people have their feet up. They're like, oh God, I got to go back into the real world. I'm like, take your time. You know where the restroom is. I'll make you a cup of tea on the way out the door if that's going to make you feel better. But I will never rush you out.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
What are
some? Have to wait if you make your appointment.
Sorry.
No, good.
What are some words of wisdom that you would have for someone who's wanting to go out on their own, start a business?
So, I would advise anybody not to do what I did. I mean, in all honesty,
that's the honest truth.
I'm very fortunate that we have grown tremendously, over
your top what and. Your top
we were third in the best of box for lashes, and that was with just my daughter doing lashes.
Yes,
please. Because that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
And that was in we hadn't even been open for a year yet at that point in time. So it was amazing. The relationships that we built with our clients. But for me, I think that I would have probably, I probably wouldn't have jumped to do things so quickly. Okay. I probably would have took a little bit more time. All of these estheticians out there, everybody wants to jump to be in business for themselves. And I understand why. I get it. But just as an FYI, it's not all that it's cracked up to be. I love being a business owner and I love having my freedom. But if you can get into a good spa or a good place, especially just coming out of school and things like that, take your time. Things are expensive. And I don't think that people completely and totally think about all of the expenses.
All of the costs.
It is not just rent and utilities and supplies. You have to pay an accountant. You have to pay payroll people. You have to pay
insurance.
Everybody's got their hand out when you're a business owner. There is, yes, correct. And
the first 5 days of the month, you're
and you are the last one to get paid.
You're the last one.
You are the last one. When you are an employee, you are the first one that gets paid. So that's something that I really, that would be, a strong bit of advice, especially to newer estheticians coming out of school thinking, oh, well, why am I going to go work for somebody else and give them a portion of my money is what I hear. And when I hear that as a business owner, I cringe. Yeah. Because if I told you the percentage that I make off of an employee, you would cry. Just because
you would not want to
30-40% of your profit goes to staff or something like that.
It's not even, but it's the staff. But then you have to pay payroll taxes on that staff. You have to pay the payroll company. You have to pay an accountant. You have to pay for product. You have to pay rent. In Pennsylvania, booth rental is illegal. So they're either a W-2 employee or there is no other option. There is no 1099. You can't do any of that. So if you have your business legitimately run, you know, and you
you couldn't even get like an independent contractor in there to do that?
No. The only way that I could do that is if I, like, say we were doing makeup for a wedding or something like that, and it was like multiple girls or something.
Special event type of thing.
Yes, and there was an already established business. There was a makeup artist, and she had her own LLC. She had her own everything. Then I say, hey, you know, whoever, you know, would you mind coming in today and lending a hand? We have, you know, 6 bridesmaids and a bride that I have to do. She could come in. I could pay her, and then I'm 1099ing her because she has an already established.
It's almost like a business-to-business collaboration versus you hiring her as an independent contractor.
But they're not somebody who works for you every day. So
on special occasions.
Correct. They're considered like a gig worker or something like that. So in the state of Pennsylvania, the laws are really harsh with estheticians and with you know, things like that. It's really like
learn your state's laws.
Yes,
like,
and
for real.
Learn your state laws and learn what is outside of your scope of practice. I see a lot of people advertising things that are outside of their scope of work. And just as an FYI, you know, if something happens, your insurance company isn't going to cover it.
Nope.
So you have
if
to
you even have insurance, because if you're doing things that are outside of your scope, I'm just going to assume that you don't have
insurance. Yes, because you need to provide the insurance company with your aesthetics license to be able to be insured. So I mean, there are so many things that go on that I just turn my cheek to, and I'm like, it's none of my damn business.
You know, I go down a rabbit hole. I'm like, nope,
don't do it.
Nope, and that's what I say too. It's not, you know, I can't get involved in that. All I know is that when I decided to do this, for me, it was very important that we did everything the right way.
By the books.
Yeah, that was it, because, you know, I'm not risking anything. I want to make sure that we're doing everything that we know, that we're all properly trained. Sanitation is huge.
Right.
And, you know, there are a lot of lash artists that are certified, and they do beautiful work. They do absolutely beautiful work, but they're not licensed. And that's a huge thing.
And I feel like that's our job to educate people. Like, there's certifications, which is one thing, and then there's an actual license where you sit in front of a state board and they're like, I'm certified to do dermaplaning and chemical peels, but I'm not an esthetician. I'm a registered nurse. So it's like, it falls under my scope technically because I'm a registered nurse, but I would never go, I don't put that out there in that way because that's not what I am. I'm not an esthetician and I'm not going to pretend to be.
Well, you'd be surprised at how many certified lash artists, you know what I mean? They're certified, but that certification and shame on the people who are educating, who are charging, because it's a shame. You have young girls that are paying $1,100-$1,200 to do these lash courses, and I understand. Like, I know how that is. Oh my gosh, I'll go get certified in lashes, and then they spend all this time and money, and they do beautiful work. But it's like, hey, do you know that in the state of Pennsylvania, you're not legally allowed to do lashes without being a licensed esthetician? You cannot do brows. You can't put any chemical. You can't do hair removal. None of that without being a licensed esthetician. So it's a shame, because there should be some type of education around that, you know, like to me, if I'm going to train somebody, and maybe it's just because I have a conscience, I don't want to take some young girl's money, you know, you have
knowing
these young,
that they can't
your
work.
20-year-old girl, she's struggling, she scraped together her last $1,200 to, you know, pay for this course, she wants to do something, but it's like, maybe she could do it out of her basement, but no one's going to hire her.
Right.
I couldn't hire somebody. That's why I'm having such a hard time finding a lash artist.
Oh, you're a great lash artist. However, you're not licensed.
So I can't even look at you. They have to be either a cosmetologist or you know, a licensed esthetician in the state of Pennsylvania. So that is another thing. Yes, know your scope.
Yes, know
what you can do in your state laws is really important.
Yeah,
it's like you said, like that 20-year-old girl that like probably borrowed money and scraped up and was like, this is my last, and this is gonna get me out of this hole, only to realize like, oh shit, I can't
do anything.
So like, or
they do it like from their house or the basement or whatever, or whatever it is, and maybe they're doing well, but God forbid, the only thing that I think is if something happened, you know, and somebody...
They're not going to insure you. You don't have a license. Like, I just paid for my insurance, my monthly... When I first signed up, they want to see my license before they give me insurance to cover me. And there's a whole list of things that I cannot do. And I see people doing those things on Instagram.
Oh, absolutely.
We do too. As estheticians, I see it all the time. I'm like, you know, like microneedling. I can't microneedle in the state of Pennsylvania because I'm not I'm not a nurse. You know what I mean? I don't work out of a med spa, but you see a lot of estheticians that are doing it. In other states, you can absolutely do it.
Yeah, I was going to say there's other states.
Pennsylvania? No.
There's a lot of no-fly zones in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yes.
Like
some of the strictest. Yeah.
Even just with with nursing and the RNs versus the LPNs versus the estheticians. There was this one post that I always go back to. Like, the post is gone now, but the woman is either an LPN or an esthetician, and she was demonstrating how to do the liquid lipo shots, and the way she was advertising it was, you're going to buy it from me and I'm going to show you how to do it and you're going to take it home. Those are the things that I'm like, I can't mind my business, because at the end of the day, it falls back on like my community of nurses. So it's like, it's a hard I'm going to mind my business this time versus how is this going to affect us in the future?
Yes. You know, that's
as licensed professionals.
Well, in
how
New
is this going to
York,
affect
I
us?
heard that they're cracking down big time, and it's a shame. I don't think that they're allowed to do lash lifting and tinting. There's a couple services that I've heard that they're really taking away, and it's because there's so many unlicensed professionals that are screwing up people's eyes, their skin, whatever it may be.
It's harder on everybody
and now
else.
it's harder on everybody else who actually did take the time. You know, going to school is not cheap.
It's not.
And it's not easy. You know, it's time and it's money. So I look at it this way. If you're willing to invest the time and the money into your education and into, like for me, I'm thinking all day long, I'd much rather go to somebody who has invested the time in education. It's so important. Even now, like, I still have a mentor, which I think she is wonderful.
That's important to have.
Very important. Very important.
Forever.
Yes, I don't care. If
everybody
I'm
doesn't
75 and
understand.
there's someone who's 90 who's able to do it, I will definitely have it. She's fabulous. And I am every single Thursday at 8 o'clock, I am on a call with estheticians from across the country.
I love that.
That's
It's
awesome.
once to twice a month. It's continuing education where there's a Sunday that I'm on learning about different skin conditions. And even though I feel like I know a lot, I don't know everything. I'm
always
never
so much
going to
more,
know
Always
everything.
learn something.
And
Yep.
it's always a good experience. I always take something else away. And then I feel like the better educated I am, the better educated my clients can
Absolutely.
be. And the more that that you know, the more that they know, the more they trust you, you know?
It
And
adds
then
to your credibility
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
why they should come to you versus, no shade, someone who's doing it out of, a guest room or their basement or
It's
something
like
like
a
that, because
weekend course, and
that's
now
what
they
they were
have a
able to
lash
do.
shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not okay. Like,
So
it's not okay. I'm
it
sorry.
gives you
okay.
that
to hear
lift.
that other people
it's
think that,
not
because
okay.
sometimes I don't want to be like the, oh, well, she's not doing it by the book or whatever. And I do. I don't say anything, but it does hurt the profession.
It does.
It really does.
That's something like it's a like, yeah, I want to mind my business today versus like if this goes left and now state legislation comes down on us and other licensed professionals, like
Then we suffer.
We're the ones that suffer at the end of the day. They can go out and get another job. They didn't get a license. Their license is not in jeopardy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Their certification
And they didn't just spend a whole bunch of time and money on, you know
Right.
what I mean, something that now they're unable to practice, or now they have to go spend, another year in school and another $15,000 or whatever it may be to,
it's not a like quick get rich quick scheme. Like
No.
it's not. Nothing is quick.
And
No,
that's what
it's
they
not.
make it seem like on
Right.
social media. So that's why you have so many people coming into these businesses
Yep.
because they see that and they don't see that like behind the scenes
She
stuff
just
where
started
you're
doing lashes, and now she has this. And
Yeah.
but like, do you know if she's licensed or if she just did a course? And there's nothing wrong with those courses, because from what I hear from other estheticians is you don't learn that really in esthetician
You
school.
don't.
So
You
it's
have to pay for
on you to
additional.
go get
Yes.
additional. Again,
Yeah.
that is additional education.
Correct.
The foundation is you went to esthetician
Yes.
school and you got your
So
license.
that is the first step, and
So
that's
they're
what I
skipping
tell
the first
everybody.
step.
That is the first
Skip the
step.
first step.
It's just like if you are going and taking karate, you know what I mean? You don't get to just go to the black belt.
Right.
Like you got to
There's
do
a
things
process.
right. There is a process. So the first step in the process is getting licensed. Then you can go take different like certifications. So
Right.
after my daughter got licensed, she took lash courses. So she took one that was like a 2-day lash course, and then she ended up taking another one, and you have to take certain ones for volume and certain ones for classics and different types of things. I ended up paying, and this is not regulated by the Board of Cosmetology. Spray tanning is not. Okay. So that's completely different. You do not have to be licensed. But it is something I did addition to, learning about advanced skincare is something that I paid thousands of extra dollars for. Having a mentor I pay for every month, being able to get on to these, educational calls and things like that. This is something that it's a part of my monthly expenses because to me, I feel like education is important. So that's I factor that in.
Things are always changing.
Oh,
always changing.
Always. Meanwhile, all of the licensed people hate me right now.
That's okay. It is what it is.
Sorry,
you don't know what you don't know. So
I think a lot of people just didn't know.
No.
Like, that's not something that when I took that lash class, I didn't know that. I didn't know that I couldn't do that. And it wasn't told to me in that class either. It was just kind of like, well, I'm in between assignments as a travel nurse, and I kind of want to do something new and different. And where did I see an ad on Instagram? So I'm like, let me take this class, and it was probably $1,000 weekend course. And I did a couple of people, and I was like, I got a bad back. I can't be doing this. So I never even did anything with it. But that was never mentioned. That was never mentioned that I had to be licensed. Now, when I went to take the chemical peel course and the dermaplaning at the other institute, I had to submit that I was either a licensed esthetician, cosmetologist, or RN, or a DO or MD. Yes. They will not even they don't care if you have the money or not. They're not accepting it without giving you a license. And because of that, that was why I went with that institution. Yes. I'm like, okay, so I know I'm going to be in a class with another licensed professional.
Credibility there.
Yes.
Not just somebody that saw them.
Or some learning level that you are on. Like you guys are starting from something similar.
Yes. Right. It's very important. And it's very hidden. And I'm, like I said, I'm not trying to knock anybody.
Right, but just know, like
some people who do some beautiful lash work.
Go back to school. Go ahead and do it because you're already doing an amazing job. So imagine how much more you would grow with that foundation underneath.
Yeah, absolutely. I would encourage somebody to, go to school for aesthetics. Go get it done, and then your opportunities are endless.
Right.
You could go work for somebody else. You could go work for yourself. You could, open up a little, studio or shop, whatever it is that you want to do.
Add more services now that you can. There's definitely opportunities out there. Just do it the right way so they don't come after you. Don't come after us because they're going to come after you.
Yes.
So
we're here to help.
We're here to help. Yeah. Whether it sounds shady or not, we're here to help.
That's exactly right.
We're going to leave all the information below for people to be able to book, follow you on Instagram. Is there any other tips or anything that you want to say to the lovely people?
Just that, it doesn't matter what age you are. I started this career, completely and totally different career path, when I was 40. So a couple years in now. So, I just think that if you feel like something isn't right in your life or in your career path, if you're looking for something different, it's never too late to, to make a change. And it's never too late to try, to try something new.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm going to leave it on that.
Yes.
All right.
Perfect
and that
note.
is a wrap on this episode.
Bye.